Okay, so the vacuum modulator has been put back together. I know it's a little ugly, but seems to work. I've rigged up a little test gauge here so you can see how much vacuum causes how much movement. Here goes. Not a lot, but then again, remember there's 12 cylinders in there, so there's not a lot of room. A little bit of movement means a fair amount of advance. Just one quick thing before we put the distributor back together. I had previously shown how I made a locking washer for the top spindle. You see the little brown plastic washer in there out of polypropylene number 5, the bottom of a pill container. There's actually 2 of them in there. I drilled out the center of 2 pill bottoms and made these little washers. And then I pushed them in with this as a tool, which seems kind of strange, but it's the right size. Pushed them in there. It took quite a lot of effort. They locked in real nicely. And now it's a very tight mechanism. There's like just a little bit of up and down play. Can't really tell. There, a little bit. And the mechanism itself, as you can see, works nice and smooth. I think people have talked about putting grease on this mechanism. I don't think I'd recommend it. I think grease would just stop it from working smoothly, especially because there was a lot of corrosion in here when I first started. I think a lot of them have corrosion that's open to the atmosphere underneath. And then if you got any kind of debris or grit mixed in with your grease, it would really hurt the mechanism. And it's clearly made of stainless or high nickel metal. It's 30 some years old. No sign of rust. So I think a little bit of engine oil is all you need there. Okay, this is the end of the XJS distributor rebuild video. Just wanted to go over a couple quick things. You'll notice I used a little bit of Scotch-Brite pad in here for a sponge to hold the oil, keep it from being thrown out as it spins. The timing adjustment screw is right there. There's a nut that holds it on. If you're not familiar with how it works, you loosen the nut just a little bit, you turn the screw back and forth, and there's an eccentric in the screw that turns the top half of the distributor against the bottom half, which is stationary. So earlier I showed the 2 halves separate. Make sure that they go together cleanly, and that they're meant to twist a little bit when you turn that screw a little bit. So if it doesn't move as like 2 halves of a clamshell nice and smoothly, make sure they do. Clean up the edge around the bottom of this piece and the top of the bottom piece. If you didn't already do this before you take the distributor out, make sure you take a photo like from the top perspective, so you can make sure that everything lines up exactly as it did before. Because of course you should take this out, not disturb your engine, and put it back in so the rotor will end up in the exact same spot and your timing is not disturbed. I had to repair, there was mouse chewed on wiring, so I repaired the pickup wiring with a piece of cable, shielded twisted pair 18 gauge cable. And I added a shielded means there's a foil shield in this cable, and it ties into this end here, and I'm going to ground it out because I guess people have reported problem with spark plugs inducing noise into the cable between your pickup and your amplifier here, your Lucas amplifier. And one more little tip, I always add a little bit of this conductive grease. You could buy this at Menards in electrical aisle, or a lot of places. I think Farm and Fleet also sells it. It's just Vaseline with graphite impregnated into it, and it'll protect the contacts in the future from the Vaseline keeps the air from getting to it and corroding, whereas the graphite, of course, aids in conduction.